Hi folks, welcome back to the channel. I'm heading back to Canada a little bit later in the year, so I'm starting to tie up some stuff for the steelhead and Pacific salmon. Quite a nice fly, little pot-bellied pig. I thought I'd show you how to do this, see what you think. Let's get stuck right into it. Okay folks, so I've got some purple Uni 6.0, just connecting these two pieces together. This is a Sean Stanton outer tube, the sort of rainbow. It's only about an inch or maybe just over an inch. It's not a massive fly by way of the actual tubing. It always looks a bit bigger just due to the style of it. So just taking this down, leaving a bit of space at the back, good few mil, to where you can put a sleeve on if you want. And then up first we're coming in with a piece of mylar. Basically this is the Opal Mirage in large is what we're going with here. And this will make up about, let's say, about a third of the body. So just catching this on the side, and then we're going to wind this up to basically where I stopped with the catch-in point. As I said, the body on this is not huge. It's a little bit deceptive as a fly, but you'll see how it all comes together. Okay, once you've caught that in, I'm going to come in with a large purple Chinese cockhackle, catching in by the tip. A couple of turns down, you can catch in as much of this as you like. I'm catching in quite a bit, I don't want this going anywhere. Then I'm just chopping away that excess and any rogue fibres that I've caught in along the way. So I'm being a little bit rough and ready with this, but we're going to hide a lot of this at the same time. And really what you're looking to do is build up the back end profile of this fly, so plenty of turns. You can use as much of this as you like, don't be shy with it, make sure you use a big feather. You're probably looking at 5 to 6 turns is what I would say. As you can see, I've definitely not been shy with it. There's plenty on this, and just catching this in again. I'm going to leave a little bit of the stem underneath and catch it, and again that's the beauty of using the 6.0 thread. It gives you that bit of power in your turns to lock everything in. Then just come back down, tidy everything up and make sure you're happy with how it's sitting. Okay, now at this point I'm coming in with this crystal flash. This is a pink crystal flash. The normal pearl will work absolutely fine. If you've got a purple, that'd be pretty cool as well. So obviously one strand, I've folded this over, and then I'm making a mess of this, but I'm folding each of the waist ends back as well, and then I'm going to cut through that loop to give me 4 pieces. Again, just bringing this all the way back down, nice and flush up against that hackle at the back. And as you can see, just chop them to length on each side. You can leave these quite long, certainly protruding past the back end of the tube, and just make sure you're happy with it. Okay folks, now at this stage going to come in with a very bright pink magenta bucktail. Really like this colour, very vibrant, and just catch a nice pinch on the top again, just protruding past the back end of the tube. You can pick your own length. Again, this isn't a massive fly, but it certainly needs to come past that back end of the tube. Just catch on a couple of turns, make sure I'm happy with it, adjusting it as required, and then starting to cut away that excess. You want that taper coming forward in the body, you want it thicker at the back, getting thinner as you come forward, and use the bucktail to help you build that shape when it comes to the dubbing. Okay, so I've brought my thread all the way back down, I've caught in all the bucktail, and just adding a little bit more flash at this point. It's a fly for Canada, you can't go wrong with a bit of flash, so that's looking pretty good. Quite happy how that's sitting now. So it wouldn't be a pot-bellied pig without some boar bristle. I'm using smaller ones and little clumps of it, primarily because the stuff that I've got really suits the colour of this fly. It's a nice fluoro pink, and the tips have been put into a sort of bluey purple, and it just looks absolutely superb. But if you've got the bigger ones, absolutely fine, use 2, 3, 4, whatever suits you. But yeah, I was quite happy using this stuff at this point. Again, you want this maybe just a little bit longer on the bucktail over the back. I've not been overly particular. I'm using 4, 5, 6 either side. Just make sure you've got it nicely tied in. You're happy with how it's all sitting, and you've curved it up nicely into the wing. Give you a nice vibration in the water whenever this is swimming. Okay, once you've tidied up your ends from your bristle, you want to grab probably some sort of wire or oval tinsel. I'm using a silver oval tinsel. It's around about a medium to large size. I think it's a 15 French that I've got here. And this is going to help us secure in all of the dubbing that we're about to add and just keep the whole fly nicely tucked together. So coming in with a nice bright magenta sort of dubbing from loop. Not try to go over the top, keep it relatively tight, but you can also keep it a little bit loose at the same time. It's a balancing act, and it's very much down to yourself how you like it. I'm going to be taking a dubbing brush over this once we've brought the rib up as well, just to pull some of those fibres out. Again, quite happy to keep this relatively rough and ready where required. Okay, once you've got to the front, you're happy with your dubbing. Counter rib with your rib. 3 to 4 turns be absolutely fine. Again, it doesn't need to be sitting perfect, it's not that style of fly. I'm doing an extra turn at the front end just to help lock everything in nice and secure. I'm going to bring the thread up over the top of it as well, and that will just lock everything in. Again, that's where your 6/0 really helps you. As you can see, I'm just adjusting ever so slightly. Wasn't quite happy with how it was sitting. Tube can sometimes be a little bit slidey. Get the wax out if you need to, and fold it back and tie it down nice and tight when you're happy with it. Come in, old scissors, chop away, job done. Okay, at this point, coming in with more flash, so we've got a strand of pink, purple and a mirror pearl, and just catching this on one side, couple of turns down, folding it over the other side and tying it down, and this will give you a whole bunch of extra flash on this. So you can keep this quite long. You can cut this to the length of the bucktail, no problem at all. It's sitting a little bit all over the place just now, but your front hackle will help pin this back into place, no problem. So for the front hackle, I'm actually using a dyed pink American Rooster Badger. Use pure pink if you like. I've done quite a few of those also. Just fancy something a little bit different here. As always, catching it in by the tip. It's quite a big feather again. 3 turns down, 3 back up, cut away that tip when you don't need it. And you're looking for nice tight turns up against each other as you bring this forward. Again, don't be shy with the fibre count. Just putting the scissors down each side to help fold this back. But as you'll see, these are nice and tight up against each other, and I'm pressing and folding the whole thing back on each turn. And when you're happy with what you've got, folks, create a space, 2 to 3 turns, and then fold back that excess. You probably won't be able to get the whole stem covered, but it just neatens everything up. Then you can come in and chop that away. Make sure you don't do your thread at the same time, because that's just bad for business. And then just tidy this up if you need to. Okay folks, now we're coming in, getting there. 2 large jungle cock eyes in the shrimp position, so quite high up on the fly each side. 2-3 turns, holding them in place, and they are sitting up quite high just now, but the cone head will flatten these down onto the body nicely. So again, same thing on each side, and then chop away your excess when you're happy with how these are sitting. So at this point folks, that's us near enough done. No need for a whip finish at this point, just get a little bit of super glue onto your thread and do a couple of turns and then chop away your excess. That super glue will hold this nicely in place and that'll be you locked in. Come back in with your super glue folks, all the way around, touching onto the tube and onto the thread. Grab the cone that you're going to use, this is a medium humor pink, and press nice and firmly down on the fly, pushing everything back, and that will lock into place. And there we have a rather nice looking fly. Last thing to do is obviously chop your inner tube down to a length, which I'm just doing just now off camera, and then melt the remaining piece down to give you a nice flanged end just to hold the cone in place. And there you have it folks, purple and pink pot-bellied pig for Pacific salmon and steelhead in Canada. Really nice little fly, really happy with how these are turning out, tying quite a few of these just now. If you liked the video, as always, like, subscribe, hit the bell, all that sort of good stuff. It'd be great to hear from you. Until next time, cheers.